Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ig-Iammoodymulathehighroller. The High Roller. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're feeling good. In today's video, we're going to be going over a question I received online, which is, does size, strength, or power matter in a fight? Now, if you ever seen Roadhouse, I'm pretty sure you guys already know the answer to this question.
Give me the biggest guy in the world. You smash his knee, he'll drop like a stone.
Nah, but seriously, I do think strength can be a key factor in winning a fight, or a lot of fights, especially in street fights. However, I don't believe it's the main factor. But yeah, there's many videos online you can find where bigger guys are getting beat up by smaller guys. Just to name a few would be UFC 1. Royce Gracie was able to win the whole competition by using jiu-jitsu to beat the bigger opponents that he faced. Jorge Masvidal, the first video I've ever seen of him, he was beating up a bigger opponent by just outworking the guy. He had more cardio and more volume. He was able to outstrike the guy, and he was very fast compared to his opponent. A great example of a smaller guy who always beat bigger guys would be Mike Tyson. His whole peekaboo style was made because he was lower than they were, so he can go under their punches and weave in and out and then go to the side and hit from that angle. Now, those are a few examples of fighters who weren't as strong, big, or powerful as their opponents, but were still able to beat them. And with that said, I do believe strength, size, and power matters when it comes to a fight. It does, but it's not the most important thing. I think the most important thing when it comes to a fight would be heart and technique, or technique and heart, either way. Now, the reason I believe technique is super important because if you have size and power and strength, all these type of things, what good is it if you don't know how to use it, right? Now, you don't have to be the strongest person in the world to knock somebody out or choke somebody. So if a bigger guy goes against somebody who's moderately strong, but they know a more superior technique, whether it's wrestling, whether it's striking, and they're pretty fit compared to the bigger guy, the smaller guy can outwork them. It's very possible for an average person to beat bigger guys. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the smallest guy in the world will beat bigger guys, but if you have technique, you're at an advantage of the bigger guy. And of course, if the bigger guy doesn't have technique, he's in a disadvantage. And heart is probably like the biggest factor a smaller guy could have against a big guy. If you don't have heart, you're gonna easily give up. If a smaller guy who's more ferocious and more tenacious fights a bigger guy who's like Bob Sapp, as soon as they get hit in the face, they just fall to the ground because they don't want to be in that situation. They don't have maybe they don't have as big of a fighter spirit as the smaller guy. Those are the two major things I think matter in a fight, because like I said, technique is super important, because if you don't know what you're doing, how could you do it against somebody who's doing it every day, who's mastered their craft and mastered their technique and their style? And then heart you need, because if you don't have heart, you'll turn into a coward real quick, and big guys can turn into cowards real quick, just as much as anybody else. When it comes to heart, little guys have that Joe Pesci in them.
Do I have to kill you? What if I was just to kick the ever-loving shit out of you? The choice now is I get my ass kicked, or option B, I kick your ass. You
know what I mean? They like to challenge bigger guys. They have that heart, bro. That's just what smaller guys have. So I just want to show you guys a couple examples of some fighters who are smaller guys but use their technique and their heart to fight bigger guys and win. So the first example I wanted to show you guys was a fighter from one championship. His name is Gustavo the Gladiator Ballart. He's only 4'11", so he's a small guy, and he fights, you know, like 5'5" type guys, 5'6" type guys, so way bigger guys compared to him. Yeah, so I was watching some of his fights. He's fast, he's explosive. He's actually an Olympic wrestler, so he uses wrestling to get people to the ground. And then with his striking, I've noticed that he uses overhands a lot because he's a smaller person. So he puts his head down or squats a little bit and then swings over the top of his head as high as he can and whacks the guy right in the top of his head. It's pretty crazy. He does it all the time. So like I said, he's using this type of technique to beat the different opponents that he faces in one championship. So another fighter I want to mention who shows a crazy amount of heart, his name is Yoki Nakai, aka the Giant Slayer. When I first started getting into martial arts and BJJ, I found this documentary called Choke. And in the documentary, they follow Rickson Gracie as he's getting ready, and he competes in Vale Tudo, Japan. And in this competition, you have to fight multiple people through the competition. It's similar to a BJJ competition, but fights. You can get messed up in the first fight and win, and then still have to carry on with a messed up shoulder, a hyperextended elbow, whatever. It's pretty intense, right? So in the documentary, they show Yoki Nakai, and he fights 3 fights in one night. and he's the smallest dude in the competition. So during the competition, he was able to beat 2 of his opponents, and then ultimately he lost to Rickson Gracie. But in the first fight, he actually fought the tall kickboxer who knocked out the Samoans guy's teeth in UFC 1.
Kathy, what do you think? Let's go low.
Catch! Nakai, catch! Gordo quits! Nakai caught him with a knee lock. Winner by submission, Yuki Nakai.
And then in the second fight, he fought an even bigger guy than that dude. At first, he was getting beat up and smashed by his second opponent, but eventually he was able to get him in an armbar. And then Rickson felt so bad because by the time he got to Rickson, his eyes were like swollen shut. So Rickson felt like super bad, so he didn't want to hurt the guy. And yeah, but ultimately he took it easy on him and beat him. But the point was, the Giant Slayer beat 2 giant dudes. Like, and it didn't matter about the size and strength. Yuki Nakai used his submissions and his heart to beat these 2 big guys in this competition. So this just goes to show that size, strength, and power does not matter when it comes to a fight. What really matters is heart and technique. You gotta have the heart to push through the adversity of the fight, and you have to have technique to work around whatever problems that might happen during the fight. Hope you guys learned something for this video. Please let me know what you guys think about this topic. Do you guys think strength, power, and size matters in a fight? This is just my personal opinion based off what I've experienced in martial arts and what I've watched over the years. So I hope you guys did like this video. Follow me on Instagram at Ig-Iammoodymulathehighroller. Drop a like on this video if you got some value from it. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get updated with any videos that I drop. And until then, I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you later. Peace.